on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And don't do that! And don't do that! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. And don't do that. And don't do that. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap, 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 yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yap, 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 yap. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. And don't do that. And don't do that. It's a wrap. Game over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the showtime. It's showtime. It's the lunch break. Oh, my goodness show with yours truly, Johnnie Cold-Blooded Cole, Coach Cole, JC, whatever you want to call me. I'm here today. Boy, I'm excited. I'm excited. I got a chance to go down to Alabama and see some old friends and got a chance to see Alabama State go to work in their spring game, but I'm excited because I got two gentlemen on my show. Of course, you guys always know that I got the best. I got the best guys. These guys go unnoticed, but they greatness. But I got greatness here. I got greatness today, and I'm excited about them. I got a guy named Brian Jenkins that I seen start off as a GA and went on, and we're going to get into what he's doing now and what he has done in the past. And of course, what can I say? Willie Todd, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, not just in black college football, all over in the NCAA. I think he still holds records. I had opportunity to play against him as well, so I always got relationships with him. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm fired up.
I see you got a lot of
Willie Todd, what was I hear that Deion Sanders came down to your school in the SWAC, and I think he came down and was going to do some good things with your coaches. Were you able to be a part of that?
Well, I did have a chance to talk to Deion when he came to the office. He just popped in. We were sitting in the office and we were doing some paperwork and getting ready for some recruiting, and he just popped in, and Deion and Coach Dancy had a good conversation, and that was the gist of it, man. I had a chance to talk to him for a minute, and he was out of there.
I want to make sure I do a shout out for Mississippi Valley State, Coach, because of course you're a graduate from there and you've done some great things, but that school has also have supported you and helped you develop, and hadn't taken your success for granted. I want to take my hat off because, when you look at some other schools in our conference in black college, they don't do that. They let their superstars go on. If you don't play pro ball and be a Hall of Famer, you don't even get mentioned again. I could say at least Valley has named the stadium after you and Todd, and I think that's a great thing.
Well, it's no doubt that when you can be honored at your university, and back in the day, in the 80s, early 80s, we did grind, man. We put in some work. I had the opportunity to be a head coach and had opportunities to leave and go and coach at other schools, and was able to come back. Able to come back to the university, and that's what I've done, and it's an investment for me. Valley and Mississippi Valley has invested in me, so what more can I say, man? The people around here, they've been good to me. This is where I grew up in this area, so Valley has been good, and Valley is home.
Well, my man, Brian Jenkins, boy, we go way back when you was just now starting off, boy. But I knew you had greatness in you. Anytime a young cat come up to an older cat, say, man, I need to teach you about the run game. And man, we've been kind of tired. I seen that fight in you. You got that bright orange. You back on the sideline, man. Tell me what you've been up to. Brian, can you hear me?
Well, man, first of all, I appreciate you inviting me on the show. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah. First of all, I appreciate you inviting me on your show, and it's an honor to be on with the great Willie Totten and talk about the many things you want to talk about. But right now, I'm at a stage now where I'm coaching at Edward University for a great guy, Coach Toriano Morgan, and I work here and working with the quarterbacks. It's really, really, really enjoyable.
Well, I tell you what, man, I didn't get a chance to see you play. I met you when we was at University of Cincinnati, and but I got a chance to see your son play. I mean, Jesus, the apple don't fall far from the tree. And boy, he did a great job over there in Alabama. I think, Todd, you got a chance to coach him as well. So how you feel about your son and his success over there at A&M? Okay, I think we have a little technical difficulty
But
hearing
I tell you,
Coach Jenkins, the weather must be bad over there.
I'm out of them because great things off the field as well as he graduates this.
Hey, I'm gonna talk to my producer. He's getting it together back there. Hell, let me go on back to Todd. Now, Todd, I'm great. What position are you coaching in Valley?
Yes, I'm the assistant head coach, and I coach the quarterbacks.
Well, that's a good place. Man, I'm gonna jump right into it with you. You remember, Todd, when we first started this business in this coaching world? I think I probably started a little earlier than you. And they used to make this list of 20 top black coaches that have a potential to be a head coach. And of course, there always was never a black college coach in there. And you was coached by greatness, Coach Archie Cooley. I coached by Lionel Taylor, who was a pro guy. And, none of those guys ever reached that list. How you feel about that there?
Well, I tell you, it's no doubt that, for me, Coach Cooley was a great motivator. He's a great coach. He was very innovative, with the passing game. Now everybody's doing that passing game now. People now call it the run and shoot or the West Coast offense. We call it the Satellite Express. Us, we were ready to throw the football. And I really truly felt that Coach Cooley did not get his just due. Coach Cooley was an outstanding coach. Most important thing that I've learned from Coach Cooley, he was a motivator. He motivated you to the point that you wanted to be great on the field. You wanted to be great in the classroom because he demanded that. And I think now we we see coaches like that like you mentioned, never made that list. I think Coach could have gone anywhere and coached. Not only as a position coach or a coordinator, he could have gone anywhere and coach as a head coach because the love of the game and what he brought to the table. For him to be innovative and be creative to bring an offense that we had back in the 80s, that was unheard of.
Right.
Now everybody credit now that everybody's running the West Coast offense. Everybody's running run and shoot. Everybody now, you call it whatever you want to call it. We used to call it the Satellite Express.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm glad, Coach, you can hear me over there, Coach Jenkins?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, man, you good now.
All right.
Coach, you championship coach, won several championships at Bethune-Cookman. You really ain't never lost nowhere you are. And this is what this show is about, man. It's about not forgetting those who came before us and not forgetting you guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's so often that we get character assassinated sometimes when something happened to your program or something happened. And I just really feel that you, Jink, and I don't know if you know, you might be, in my 40 years of black college football, is the only black head coach to ever get an interview by PWI, which we say is a predominantly white university. Not saying it's no racial thing, but you one of the few, if the only, besides the one guy that went to Southern Mississippi.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I'm thankful for that. You know, I had 2 interviews. They didn't work in my favor. Don't know why, but I had 2 interviews. One was at Florida International, which I thought was going to be a shoe-in. And at the last minute of the negotiations, I got a surprise, you know. And then I also had an interview at UAB and finished runner-up. And they end up going with the guy that they got now. You know, he had ties to Alabama because, you know, I understood that one a little bit. But what's so crazy, Johnny, and I tell people to this day, you know, I didn't get the job at FIU. And we ended up playing them that next season. And we put it on them pretty bad. I mean, we rushed for right around 300 yards and threw for another 150, 200 and something yards. I mean, we beat them pretty bad. And then they signed the contract to play a second year. And we played the second year and we beat them again. So I don't know what other proof was needed to show that I was capable, just like others who came before me, of moving on to bigger programs, you know. And in that same season, I remember playing the University of Miami, and we took Miami all the way into the 4th quarter before they took over the game. So I think I was an example because of the teachings that I had and the people that I followed. And it's so crazy that, you know, when I look back at things, I studied offenses like your offense. I studied under you. I went back and looked at FAMU from back in the day. Just a lot of offensive football before my time. And all I did was take ideals from here, take ideals from there, twerk them a little bit, put it together, and made it work for what was best for me. But if it wasn't for guys like you, guys like Mr. Totten, other guys at other universities, you know, that came before me that I could learn from, then I wouldn't have had the opportunity that I was able to be blessed with.
Well, that's really important because, like you said, I kind of watched your career, and you went to a PWI yourself. You played at University of Cincinnati. I know you coached at Eastern Illinois up under a great coach there. They still talk about him, you know, and you actually was on that side.
Right.
But I know you. I know what you got in here, and sometimes, you know, you got that fight in you, you know, that you want to be the big fish in the little pond, not the little fish in the big pond. So just like my brother, you crossed over because it's the only way we gonna get head jobs.
Right.
And well, you was able to show yourself, you know, of what you can do.
What happened to me was, you know, my opportunities came just like everybody. Opportunities come for coaches that you played for. And the Harbaugh family had a very good liking to me, and Coach John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, got me an interview with his father. and I started.
Oh, he jumped off again. It must be raining down there in Florida, Willie.
Yeah, I think so.
What?
Heard him. Hey, look, he was coming through real loud and clear, man, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
crying again.
Well, Coach, you've been a head coach before, and we faced y'all. Matter of fact, you beat me. What, 14-7, something like that. I remember you guys played real, and your coaching staff have went on and done good things, like Sam Washington is going. He's the new head coach up at A&T. When you're choosing a head coach, just tell me what you're looking for in your style and how you go about it.
Well, JC, it's no secret in football. You have to first of all, I think from my as being a head coach and being an offensive coordinator, you have to find someone who fit your personality. You have to find who can fit the. I mean, a lot of time, you got people who have a lot of great coaches can really coach, but you have to have the right fit for your program. And I look for coaches who not only can know the X's and O's, but I look for coaches who understand development of players on the field and off the field, making those guys young men, because a lot of time we recruit kids that come from single parent homes, and now we have to be the leaders. We have to stand out front and making sure that those guys are good students, because they are bringing off of you. So that's what I look at when I'm looking at coaches and deciding when I was a head coach, and those were some of the factors that I used when I was looking for assistant coaches. You got a lot of coaches that know football, but you have coaches that just don't know how to develop young men. When you get that, that's when you find you run into some problems.
Yeah, Brian, we were talking. Is it raining down there?
Yeah, we got bad weather down here.
Oh, okay. We had some here last night, but we were talking about, of course, you've been a head coach at 2 different universities, and in choosing your staff, what are some of the particulars that you look for?
Well, I look for specialty in individuals and whatever that they coach. I'm an uncommon guy when it comes to hiring guys. A lot of times guys hire guys and they got to talk to 150 guys before they hire. Not me. I go off what I feel about a guy, because no one else can tell me anything that's good or bad that's going to change my mind about who I want to hire, because I realize guys perform different under different conditions. So I always try to go with the specialty that I see in the guy when I'm making those hires. 2, I agree with Mr. Totten. You got to go with the guy that fits, that fits the situation that you're in. And every good coach doesn't fit the situation that you're in. Sometimes you might not need a guy that is top at X's and O's, but he may be top at counseling guys and keeping guys motivated. So you got to hire him from that part. And one of the things that I feel is important, and I think for any coach moving forward, I don't care what color you are, half of your room has to be smarter than you. Half of your room has to be different thinking than you. All right. And then half of your room, all of the entire room cannot be intimidated by you.
Yeah. I remember
putting the staff together.
Yeah, I remember listening to Lou Holtz speak one time at a coaches convention, and that was one of the things he said. Out of the 9 coaches, only 4 of them probably want to be head coaches. And what you find yourself doing as the season going on, giving all the things to do to those 4, because you know that you could count on those guys, and those other 5 guys, they either catch on or they fall off. Man, let me ask a question, and you 2 guys, why is it somewhere that now in Black college football that we don't have enough Black guys that's coordinators? Is it because they're not ready? because they don't get the opportunity. You know, why is it that, you know, now in black college football, we're leaning more towards hiring white guys being coordinators than black guys? Is it some there, or is it I'm reading into it too much?
Well, I guess from my standpoint, you know, I had that same argument, Coach, and you know, you look at I think it's about the opportunities. I think the opportunities in this game now, I'm finding more, and I've been coaching now going on. If Lord bless me to make it to this season, I've been coaching 32 years, and I've seen over the trend that I think guys now and Coach Jenkins mentioned earlier about you know, the fit, and also I understand the fit. A lot of times now, I think they're getting guys that they're familiar with. They're getting guys who may have a buddy who make the call and say, "Hey, look, we want to go with him." Don't know if he can coach or not. A lot of time they go on what their friends say, and just the connection that they have made over the years through the clinics, through camps, and I think that's how a lot of guys are getting accepted. And for the difference in you looking at the black coach as a coordinator, and you looking at the white guy as a coordinator, and I think it go through partnership, relationships, and I think where we miss it, I think it's the camps. I think you have to go to the camps. You have to really be a network clinics. I think that makes a big difference, and we're not taking care of each other. I think when I say that, I'm talking about HBCU, not only just going to the PWIs. We don't take care of each other. There's no way in the world, Johnny, and I'm just saying this, that you have been out of coaching as long as you have a greater coach you've been. I think we have to get to back to egos. I know in coaching we have egos, and a lot of times those egos get in the way. I look at a good football coach. If you're a good football coach and you're the right fit, I think regardless if you black or white, I think you should get that opportunity. And I think that's what we've been missing out on. Networking thing now is very big. You know, I understand a lot of guys go on Zoom. You know, they have the Zoom workshops that they go on, which I think is a great idea, that we didn't have this in the past. And if you look at those guys who get on that, those are the guys who getting jobs. I talked to a guy, and I was on a Zoom, and he just did a Zoom workshop. Next thing I know, he's a coordinator. I mean, just on the Zoom. I mean, and I think that's where it starts.
Well, before Jink, you jump in, because I know you've been on both sides.
Right.
You've had white coordinators, black coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
I just say that we're not training them enough. They're jumping in, you know, and we're not putting them in positions to be coordinators. You know what I mean? So go ahead, Coach. I know. You know, again, you coached in two different schools.
Right. Well, I think first of all, let me agree with what you're saying. The training of young guys is not happening anymore. It's not like when I was coming up, and every time I ran into you, it turned into a quiz session. If I didn't get it, you know, you was on my neck. You know, you were drilling me about cover 2, about cover 4. You know, you were drilling me about formations to the boundary. You were drilling me about personnel. What are you trying to get here? What are you trying to get there? And I wasn't even a coordinator now. I was a young coach coming up, but you were training me, and I didn't even work for you.
But you was hungry though, Coach.
But I was hungry, and you took interest enough in me to say, every time I see this guy, I'm gonna make sure he knows or he learns something. Even when we were doing our Zoom, you know, I was doing the Zoom, it still continued. You know, we talked about some football. You called me back and was angry and was going at my neck. Hey, man, y'all got to do this. You got to do that. But that's training. Now, here's the second thing that has to happen. Young guys don't take to training and criticism like we did when I was young. You got to take to it. When we used to see Mr. Totten or see yourself, we used to go and try to pick you guys' brain, and we took to whatever you were teaching. We were humble enough to want to learn. You don't have that in the profession now, and that needs to return back. Now,
and I just keep hold your thought,
mhm,
and I'm glad you're saying that, and that's why when these young guys are getting these jobs, they're remembering when you got on them or you stop them, and then they're taking it personal.
right?
Man, I don't want to. No, that's the guy you need to hire
Yeah,
because he's gonna make
absolutely.
you better. But
Right.
go ahead, Coach.
Absolutely. And then when you talk about the coordinator part of it, I think it's a lot that goes into it. I know for me, when I was a head guy, my thing is I wanted to diversify my staff, and I also wanted to send a message to college football that I can manage all, no matter what color, no matter what age, and I could show my wits with the best of them. So I wanted to send a message if I was going to move up to the next level, is that I've had a diverse staff. I've managed people of all backgrounds. I've proven that I can get productivity out of them. So that was part of my doing and my thought process when it came to hiring white coordinators or black coordinators. If they had the right fit and they fit into my strategic plan, then that's what I went forward with, because I also was on a high of trying to show that there's no difference in football and there's no difference in coaching. I used to get really bothered when people used to refer to me as a black college coach, a HBCU coach. And then when I would get on the board and match wits with them, they would be surprised. That, to me, that was an insult. Why are you surprised? I'm a coach just like you are. No matter where I coached at, I've coached on both sides of the track. So I'm a coach just like you. I study a profession. I try to master my skills just like you. So don't refer to me or put me in a box of being a black college coach. I'm a coach, period. And I tell you what, I've seen some great coaches that work at HBCUs, some great minded coaches. And and to this day, I still have not seen anybody in college football do the things offensively that you have done, Johnny, with the delay personnel coming off the sideline. With the bunch on the sideline, you got the whole team on the sideline, and then when you run everybody out like they're going to the field, and then bring half of the team back, which makes it hard for defenses to get personnel. I haven't seen people do those things. Now, is that just black college, or is that a genius of wit as a coach? So, I think people need to get away from, hey, that guy's only a black college coach. No, that guy's a good coach. And once they can get over that hump, then I think they need to get over the hump and start giving guys opportunity who can coach. If you're a coach that coaches at an HBCU and you're getting it done, you deserve the opportunity. And I think it's time for talks to be had. I think it's time for action to be given. And hopefully this thing with Deion Sanders will lead to something other than just what is leading to thus far. And maybe, shows like this and the open talk will awakening some people to show that there is some good coaches out there that can coach good football no matter what color they are.
Well, this is what I hadn't seen a show like this and contribute to AJ Johnson. He's behind the scenes. They're giving me an opportunity because my whole thing is to make these platforms for you guys, to let people hear you talk. Let's talk football. Right. That's my. We play football on Mars and they play football on Earth. That we got a lot of great people. And like you said, Todd, we got to love ourselves, man. We got to take care of ourselves. I know in the state of Louisiana, when I was working at Southern, you would see a coach at Louisiana Lafayette. Then next year he at Monroe. Then next year, he's at another Louisiana school. And they just rotate their coaches. In the SWAC conference, we used to do that. When Eddie and them were the coaches, you was a young coach coming through, you could bounce around. We don't do that no more. Now, and it's a thin line. And I'm glad you said that, Coach Jenkins, about you wanted to establish the reason why you weren't afraid of hiring a white guy as your coordinator, because you were looking down the line of saying, man, I can work with anybody. Anybody can. That's the first time I heard that, and it makes sense to me because
Right.
I had a problem with it because I see a Willie Totten, I see myself, I see you, I see Melvin Spears, I see James Woody. You know, these guys are putting up numbers, but can't get no coordinator job, can't even get on nobody's staff.
Mhm.
So you know, it's important to me, and I'm glad that you said that. That does give me a different view of what's going on. You know, let me throw you guys some numbers. Out of 255 teams, you want to say something, Todd?
Yeah, let me just say this is real quick, and I'm glad that Coach Jenkins mentioned that. But for me, I have always been an HBCU guy. That's maybe it's different for me. I look at it different on a different perspective. I never have been interested in going PWI. You know, I played for Mississippi Valley. I did some great things at Mississippi Valley. So that was never my interest. I think if I would have applied, I probably would have had some success. But my whole career, and like I said, this season would be 32 years for me. And all of that been in black college football. And I felt that I owe black college football that. Because if I can do it at the level at Mississippi Valley back in the early 80s, I felt that now I'm letting you know you can be great in this conference. You can be great at an HBCU. You don't have to go to a PWI to be great. You don't have to go to a PWI to feel that you can get to the league on the next level. As a coach, that's what I try to preach to my guys over the years that I've coached, that this is who I am. I played, and I understand, Coach Jenkins, you are different because you played at the University of Cincinnati. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
your perspective is a little different. I'm just talking about from my perspective,
Right.
and I've had a white coordinator, and like you say, and I'm not speaking in terms of being racist. I've had white coaches on my staff when I was at Mississippi Valley, and I was a head coach for 9 years at Mississippi Valley. So I don't think it's the difference in the white or black. I think it's the opportunity, and for me, my opportunity always been HBCU. And I have always wanted to be an HBCU coach.
Right. And see, with me, I think the platform was a little different.
Right.
Because, you know, I had bloodlines to both. I played at a PWI. I had bloodlines from family at HBCUs. So I think the platform was different. So in my time, I felt my calling was to find a way to cause, you know, HBCUs to ascend, because I didn't want anybody to be able to say that we couldn't do something or try to label us in a negative sense. You know, when I was a young coach, you used to hear black college coaches, used to hear HBCU coaches, but it wasn't said in a positive sense. So I felt I was put in position at that time and on that platform to change that frame of mind and that thought process. And like I say, I agree with what you said, Mr. Todd, and I really do. And because I respect the position that you were in at time, and that was your calling. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think part of your calling was passed on to me to say, okay, this is what I've been called to do. Now I'm passing it on to you. I think part of Johnny's calling was passed on to me. Okay, we've done this. We've accomplished this. Now we're going to put this in your lap. Now you got to take it this far. And taking it, you know, and did the job that I had to do. And now what I had to do is passed on to someone else. And so I just think it's a different platform. I don't think one is more important than the other. I just think it's a different platform and a different calling for us at that time.
Yeah, well, and guys, when you're looking at the big picture, because you know, Jink, you know, I coach with John Harbaugh too, who's at the Baltimore Ravens. We work together as well. And then again, Todd and I was like you. I wanted to be the big fish in the little pond, meaning I want to coach it in black college. You know what I mean? And I seen my brother coach for 20 years, been at 15 different schools, really 20 now, but he been at all these 1A schools and never even got a coordinator position. So when I seen that, I said, well, that ain't what I want to do. And that's what some of these guys do when they coach at these PWI schools. They just accept a role as an assistant coach for 20, 25, 30 years. But we got guys like Brian Jenkins coming our league, does a great job. We had Rod Broadway, who coached at Florida for 20 years, came in and done a great job. You got L.C. Cole, of course, done a great job. But like you said again, Todd, at the end of the day, and Jenkins, what I'm trying to put out there is that we do have great coaches, and you said that.
Mm-hmm.
But just like with you, Jenkins, it's unfair. It's unfair to you that you went and proved yourself as a winner. Not only did you prove yourself as a head coach at a HBCU school, you beat predominantly white schools, but you don't get that opportunity. And I know Todd Gray agree with me. That's unfair to us.
Unfair.
So why should we take our HBCU jobs and give them away to guys that are not HBCU graduates? At least the head job. Is that what you're saying, Todd?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in a way, you know, we've had conversation prior to this. It's just the fact that, and I think a football coach, and I agree with Coach Jenkins. I think a football coach is a football coach, whether he's a white coach or he's a black coach. Right. I think it's the fit. I think it's the situation. But my thing is, if you get an opportunity to be a head coach and you get an opportunity to be a coordinator, whether you're at a HBCU or a PWI, I think you do the best job you can be, do the best job you can do, but at the same time, getting that opportunity. Right. And coaches, a lot of coaches don't have that mindset that I have. I have the mindset that, you know, I'm retired from Mississippi. I'm retired. I'm back helping Mississippi Valley, and I'm good. But I'm still a football coach, and I'm still gonna coach as long as I feel good about coaching, as long as I feel that I'm touching a kid's life, making a difference in a kid's life, and that's where I am. And I coach. We all have a different platform. We all have a different goals of how we want to pursue our life. But I'm good. I'm good, man. And
let me give y'all some stats. Out of 255 Division I-A teams, there's only 31 offense and defensive coordinators. So you know 9 of them are 20 of them 250 schools are black schools. And we got 31 black coordinators. So we already know 9 are of different race. 14 black coaches in Division I-A. That makes up 10% of the coaches. Those numbers are so staggering. It's crazy. It's crazy that we don't get no opportunity. So I'm gonna shift. What do we need to somehow come up with some ideas? You know, I'm gonna use this show and then I'm gonna start reaching out to some ADs, because how can we bridge the gap? It shouldn't be that much disparity. No, in college football, period. White, black, green, purple, it shouldn't be that much disparity.
You're right. It shouldn't be. And I think those ADs who are real and very open-minded will be able to see that there is an issue that needs to be attacked and needs to be dealt with. And we all know that. And it's been an ongoing issue for a very long time. And it's been something that you faced, Johnny, that Mr. Totten has faced, and that I've faced, and there's others that have come up now that they're facing. And so, is there a certain answer to it? No, it's not a certain answer. And I think there has to be a collaboration of minds to talk about it and find a way to eliminate that process. It's not going to be done in a day, but it has to be addressed. It has to be. I mean, if we continue at the rate that we're going to continue at, then at some point in time, those numbers are going to drop to a negative sense, and we can't have that. But that's part of the reason why my thought process was the way it was, because I wanted to eliminate all thought processes that could develop to say, well, he hasn't managed this, or he hasn't done this or done that. So that's why I took it upon myself to build a diverse staff. So it was no questions when it comes to that. And I've talked to different ADs of all colors at all levels, and I've asked them this question: why is it? A lot of them refer it to the board of trustees. A lot of them refer it to support. And a lot of them say that they just don't know. They haven't followed HBCUs. They haven't followed HBCU coaches. So they just don't know. And that's why I think this thing with Dion, which I agree with some of it I don't agree with. But the one thing I respect him for is he's using this platform to show that if I got the means, I can get it done.
Yeah.
And, I just think, there's a lot of, how can I say, in between to where there's some disconnect to where people just don't know the talent level of coaching at the HBCUs, and they need to find that out. And I think if they were able to step across the track, take the initiative to step across the track and take a look, I think they'll be impressed at what they see and their mind will change.
Well, I kind of, one of the things I've been thinking about, they just came up with a black coach on offense in the NFL, that each team can hire a minority black coach or a woman for the offense. I'm looking at on college level, the NCAA, with all the money they make, they can't create a position on another position, or give the school another position that they gonna hire a minority coach. I don't know if he's got some, from an HBCU school or some to give us an opportunity to get one more guy up there. I mean, as much as money the NCAA make, I'm pretty sure they can mandate, or not necessarily mandate, make a position for another minority coach on the 1A level, to give us some experience. I think consciously too. You've been in it for 32 years. I started coaching in '86. So, I got almost 38. I'm telling you that those brothers on that 1A level making that kind of money, 4-5, and I'm not trying to spend their money, but they constantly know that there's a problem with black coaches at the 1A level. Even at the one AA level, at the Lone Star Conference and some of these, it still ain't enough, brother. That to reach down, and form a relationship and bring a guy. You making $400, $500, $600, $4, $5, $6 million. I mean, you can't reach down, and that there's an issue that you can't reach back on your staff and say, you know what, I'm gonna bring a HBCU guy up and kind of train him, and then hopefully I can, add him to my staff. Because the old saying, when you hear, I worked at PWI schools too, and you be like, well, why is not enough diversity here? Well, we can't find any. Well, we know there's some down at some black colleges. If you want to find it, you can go there and find what you're looking for.
Right.
Qualified. Don't get me wrong. We ain't giving jobs away. We want to give them to qualified people.
Right.
So those are my thoughts when I start looking at these numbers and put things together. Y'all thought on that? Go ahead, Todd.
Well, I think, like you said, I mean, I think that would be a great idea. But how do we get to that point? How do we get to the point of reaching the NC2A, asking for that to be a possibility? I think those are the questions, and like this platform here is good for that. I think we have to go into depth and find out, how do we do that? How do we impress, or how do we get the NC2A to follow up on it and want to do that? That would be the question that I would have, and who would be the lead person on that?
Now, Jim, they started up a black college. I mean, a BC. It ain't the BCA. It's called something else. With my man over from Maryland. What's his name? Coach over there.
Coach Loxley.
Yeah, Coach Loxley. But then they get a job to the head coach at Howard. I don't know the guy, but he ain't even an HBCU graduate. He don't even know our struggles.
Right.
You know what I mean? He ain't invested. You know what I'm saying? He's got that opportunity. So I'm just, I hadn't got into that organization yet. Nobody's reached out to me. I kind of heard bits and pieces about it. So how can it be about black coaches when guys from HBCUs who got the ceiling on their head should definitely be a part of that?
Well, the only thing I would say, and not to be disrespectful, Johnny, because I got a lot of respect for you, and I tell guys all the time, my offensive mindset has come from being a young guy under Johnny Cole. But we have had some disagreements. And the only thing I disagree on is Larry at Howard, who's been a PWI guy and ended up taking the Howard job. Larry has reached back and pulled some guys up from HBCU, and Larry has done some things behind the scene, and I commend him for it. You know, we and Larry have had several talks. Me and him have had personal talks concerning myself and different things like that. So I got to stand on the table for him, you know, and say that I disagree on that end when it comes to Larry at Howard. Now, when it comes to Loxley and the organization that he's head of, I have some questions about the organization. You know, I don't know enough about it to criticize, but I do have some personal questions about it to see if it's just another organization that's just developed, or what is its intentions. I know it does have some major heavy hitters as far as their board and everything, which is really good. They got Nick Saban and some other guys. But my question will be, how are you going to be able to get guys like me, guys like Mr. Totten, guys like Coach Simmons at FAMU, guys like Toriano Morgan at Edward Waters, guys like Terry Sims at Bethune-Cookman? How are you going to be able to get us in front of your board, of those people, to talk about these issues? And I think that's what needs to be done. It has to start there. And I think if you can start with some great ones who has the power, you know, we all know the things that Coach Saban and other guys are capable of. And we all know the pull that they have with the NCAA. So I think discussions has to start with them. And I think they'll be very open to it. You know, I think Coach Saban has shown over the time that he's an open-minded guy if it's brought to him in the right manner, and business needs to be done. And that's why I respect him so much, because I think he's a business guy. Let's get it done. Let's stop talking about it. Let's get it done. So my question to that organization, which I respect very much, is how can you get us in front of that board, in front of those right people, so we can have these discussions and make change? And maybe that bring me some understanding of what the organization has been really created for.
Right. Well, you know, like you said, if I felt, or you felt like I was down on Larry, you know, again, my thing, and I apologize. And this is what this is for. You know, it's all, you know, some of it's opinionated and factual as well. You know, but my thing is, you know, why wouldn't a guy like me know something? Todd, have you ever been approached about it?
Matter of fact, with I was on the first, when they first did it in 1990, 2019, I attended the one at Morehouse College. I think that was the very first one, and we had a lot of guys in the room. I think it's good, but I'm like Jenkins now. Is let's find out the purpose. Let's find out really where are we going with it, and really what are we trying to do? Because when I went to the first quarterback symposium, we talked about the same thing. How do we get to that next level as a coordinator? How do we get to the next level as a coordinator from a PWI? And there was a lot of guys in the room who was coaching at PWIs at the time. And I think at the time, Coach was at Alabama. He was the offensive coordinator at Alabama at that very first meeting. And then that same year he left, and that's when he got the job at Maryland. I thought it was a very good thing to have. You know, we got on the board. We talked about developing the quarterback being a major player at the PWI, because we don't have a lot of black quarterback coaches at the PWIs. I thought that was a very good symposium that we had. A lot of guys had a lot of great ideas. You know, it would be something that I would support, because I think it's something that we need. Now, this may be the platform we may need, what you just mentioned, in terms of going to the NC2A, asking the NC2A, could that be another position developed for diverse coaches at the PWI?
And we could go as deep as at schools that's not diverse. You know what I mean? That would answer the question. I mean, at some of the schools is not diverse. My thing, you know, Coach guys, I started before for both of you guys, and I know you guys remember the BCA. That was the same thing. This is the way you dress. This is the way you wear your hair. You know, get out of these sweatsuits. Go to these camps. I did all that. Won games, set NCAA offensive records, broke conference records. I done it all and never, ever got one call. You know, my brother ever got one call. Pete Richardson never, ever got one call. Melvin. And these guys I seen on this list was able to go on the PWI side, not be successful, jump in our conference, not be successful. You know, like you guys were saying, it's about the fit. It's about what coach got his thing going on. But because of this, I'm just, you know, and we coming with these groups, Jenkins. I mean, you just knocked it out the block.
Right.
We need to be in front of somebody instead of us sitting up. Slavery wasn't, we didn't get free by ourselves.
Right.
Let's get that straight. There was some people across the track who said enough is enough.
Right.
We need to move this train and we need to move and get this done and move it. And I'm thinking that we need to get in front of some people who can make some difference. This ain't about X's and O's no more. It's about what you said, Todd, and you've been saying since. It's about opportunities.
Right.
And we're not getting the opportunities, you know, that we need. And guys is in places, I think, is still not bringing enough of us with us. Each one bring one, each one teach one. I've always lived that way. I come from a family of 9 children, so I know how to working together and where everybody can prosper. You know, well, all my brothers have graduated from college. All of us have done great things, and that's because our parents taught us don't leave one behind. If you got it, he got it.
Well, let me add.
I'm coming to the end, but go ahead, Coach.
Let me add to that too. And these are just some things that's been shared with me. Now, the validity of it, I don't know, but these are just some things that have been shared with me. You know, it was shared with me from a search committee at one time that said, we didn't know that you would be interested in other opportunities outside of HBCU. And once I let it be known that I would, then some other things started to happen. So I think part of the problem is, like I said, there are some people out there that don't know, and they haven't stepped across the track to find out or to know. So I think now we have to put together a sounding board to say, I am interested, you know, and we also have to promote each other. Like Willie Simmons. I think Willie Simmons deserves a shot more than anybody else. He's a proven guy, and I think he's a guy that will be successful. And it's a lot of other guys that's out there that I think deserve opportunities. Now, I'm going to give you a name, too, that I think, Johnnie, will be good for you. And that can also maybe get a little bit more in depth because this is what he does. And he's done some research. He's been a part of the BCA. And matter of fact, he's the head of the BCA. And that's Vance Malone. And me and Vance have had multiple talks concerning a lot of things. And he shared stuff with me about the different lists that they have. The different things that they're going to do moving forward. So I would promote to say Vance Malone would be great to come on your show and talk in depth about these ideas.
Yeah, I know Vance. Hey, look here, guys, we coming down to the end. I can't say enough how great and how you took your time, but I want to make sure that people knew you guys was out there and get to know who Brian Jenkins is. And shit, I love this cat, man. Willie Satellite Titan. You know, me and him used to go at it now. You know, we threw 12 touchdowns in one night. But go ahead, your last remarks, Brian.
Well, I would say, first of all, I feel humbled to be on this show. And like I say, to talk about these ideas. And we're not going to get it solved in today. But I think what our open-mindedness and our knowledge and our transparency, we'll be able to scratch the surface and move away from scratching the surface to digging a hole and find a way to get to the bottom or make some change on these very, very important issues that you're bringing up. And I want to thank you, Johnnie, for being man enough to bring these issues up. And I'm very honored to be on with Mr. Todd. He'll tell you every time I see him, I'm in his pocket, you know, and I'm trying to learn from him. But I'm very honored to be on with both of you guys.
Okay. Really, last remarks.
Same thing. No doubt, Johnnie, that, you know, when we talked a couple weeks ago, and you asked me about coming on the show. You know, I'm always available, man, because I know this is where it starts. I mean, if you don't talk about it, first thing people say is they didn't know. I think you having this show, you inviting guys to come on to share their experiences, their moments. I think this is where it starts, though. Just like Coach Jenkins said, that it's got to start somewhere, and you started it, and I want to thank you for having me on as well, because whenever I come in contact with you, we always chop it up, and also when I come in contact with Coach Jenkins, we always chop it up, and I think that's what it's all about. I think staying connected with each other, because you never know who can help each other down the road. So keep doing what you're doing, man, and whenever you need my help, I'm always here.
Man, appreciate it. Jink, I'll call you later and get those numbers from Van. And shit, man. Hey, I'll bring him on the show, Coach. I ain't scared, Coach. I don't wear red. I ain't scared. I see you guys. I just want to send a shout out to my tax service, Prosperity Tax Service. I know they looking down in West Waco. If you want them taxes done, you can call 254-235-5662. My girl Keisha Bridges and her husband. And they also got a cigar thing online that I got to get to. I know she's watching, and I know she's on me, but I want to send a shout out to Prosperity Tax. Hey, this is the end of another show. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to get out there and talk about Black college football, about Black college coaches. And maybe I shouldn't call them Black college coaches. I should just call them coaches. But it's so many times that we don't get the credit where it's due, and we still in the light ages when it comes to college football about men of color being in positions of power. You're coaching our kids, and we can help develop them. We also can be in charge of them. Again, thanks, AJ, for giving me this opportunity. It's a lunch break. Again, coming to you live, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Peace, joy, and happiness.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alexia McClurkin. I'm the founder of 9 Months of 5K, a nonprofit that was started to dispel the misconception that pregnant women shouldn't work out during their pregnancy. We are focused on health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness. We're hosting our annual 5K on Mother's Day.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Number 1, I am so proud to announce the creation of HBCU Bridge. By partnering with Sports Video Group, or SVG, my company, Yossi Media, will enable students at historically Black colleges and universities to begin careers in sports broadcasting, production, and other industry opportunities. This new initiative bridges the Tom Joyner Foundation's work to keep students in HBCUs and the next step, the opportunity for HBCU students and graduates to launch careers in sports broadcasting and production. Number 2, pressure continues to mount on President Biden to cancel student loan debt by members of his own party. During a recent closed-door meeting, Mr. Biden assured Democratic leaders that he will consider some form of relief, but didn't commit to a specific plan. White House officials have been working with members of Congress and aides to come up with a formula that provides a number that makes the most sense in terms of canceling some student debt while providing financial relief. Number 3, recent polls show reflecting diverging preferences by different races on how to deal with the pandemic as federal, state, and local restrictions fall by the wayside. Black Americans at 63% and Hispanic Americans at 68% continue to be more likely than white Americans at 45% to say they are at least somewhat worried about themselves or a family member being infected with COVID-19. This data is according to an April poll from the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. Number 4, criminal charges have been filed after a white Casey County, Kentucky middle school student allegedly strangled and assaulted a Black student in a school bathroom while 3 other students watched. The student had been charged with strangulation and assault in connection with the incident that allegedly occurred Friday and was videotaped. Police are trying to determine if there were additional videos and said other charges may be filed. Number 5, pharmaceutical giant Pfizer is recalling a blood pressure drug because of elevated levels of a potential cancer-causing impurity. The company is warning consumers of several tainted lots of Acupil and 2 other versions of the drug because of the presence of a nitrosamine above the acceptable daily intake level. The medications are prescribed for the treatment of hypertension to reduce the risk of cardiovascular events, primarily strokes and myocardial infarctions. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Seek out people who are honest, positive, and kind. Okay, I'm over here. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians extraordinaire Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered. It's Sybil.